Welcome to the next episode of Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter. I write about the San Antonio Brahmas on UFL News Hub. I write about the Hamilton Tiger Cats on CFL News Hub. I write about the IFL on UFL News Hub. My Twitter is at AaronSauter7. Feel free to follow me. Obviously, this is on YouTube and Substack. Subscribe, like the video if you enjoy what you see here. It's a low budget operation because I'm looking for sponsors. If you're a sponsor, hit me up. It'll be worth your money. I can read a promo really well. Okay? Yesterday, I was going to go over my preseason power rankings for the UFL for the 2025 season. But bigger news came out about a labor dispute related to UFL quarterbacks and potentially a labor strike. And that was a much bigger deal. That was a much bigger news story. And I am spending the whole time, 30-some minutes, ranting about that and trying to give a plan for the future in case things don't go well with that. But looking at Twitter, looking at some releases of information, it looks like everyone arrived at camp. Everyone, coaches, players, everyone who's expected to ride a training camp did. So that's a good sign. That means the 2025 season in the UFL will most likely go on as planned, which is huge. Okay? Reputation takes a little hit. Greg Parks on UFL News Hub mentioned their reputation takes a little hit, and they can't really afford that. They're low on money and reputation. But they got everyone they expected to have. They got their teams. I'm wearing my new Brahmas hat today, representing the Brahmas as we go through this video. Okay? This video is not meant to be a preview for each team. I'm going to do that after training camp. The first week before the season starts, before the first games, I will go through a quick little summary of each team. Okay? Probably 2 teams a day. Do a little 2-a-days action heading into the first game. I expect these rosters to change a lot during training camp. Injuries, last year the DC Defenders really took some big hits in training camp and ended up really messing up their season. Okay? They were expected really to be the second best team in the XFL conference. And losing Abram Smith was a huge deal. Okay, that was a big problem. And they didn't overcome that. Also, they had secondary issues. Greg Williams' defense, okay, is based on lots of pressure. The only way lots of pressure works is if you sack the quarterback and you have a great secondary. Secondary did not play well. Not great at getting to the quarterback. Therefore, that defense is a liability. If you're not sacking the quarterback and you're not getting tackles for loss and you're not covering well on the field, that's bad for Greg Williams' defensive scheme. It's probably bad for everyone's scheme. Offensively, Jordan Thomas struggled without a run game. They're an RPO-based offense, so when they can't run the ball, their offense is not going to go well. Okay? So that stuff happened last year, and I think it's not a wise decision. I see a lot of people putting out team previews and position group previews before training camp really starts. I think that's a bad call. I think this stuff's going to change a lot heading into the first game. So I'm going to wait on going over each team's individual personnel. Okay? So what I'm going to talk about today is just my preseason predictions of how they're going to finish in the power rankings. I'm not breaking it down XFL and USL conference. I'm just looking at the 8 teams. I'm going to talk about my logic of why they fit into these rankings. I'm also going to predict their really too early record prediction for the year. Okay? It's too early to do that. But I'm just going to throw it out there. Okay? I want to look back at the end of the season. I got some shadow in my hat. It probably covers my face a little bit. That's probably a benefit to y'all watching. That's good. Okay? I look old. Yep, I look old. Oh well. It's a hard week of work, Hard week of work. It's a Friday evening. Taking some time to talk about UFL football. Good times. I'm having a good time. We'll see how it goes. Hope you're having a good time. We've had a huge influx of subscribers this week. That's good. Would love to get a sponsor. We're getting some attention. Got a new sign. World's best coach. I coach football. I'm a defensive coordinator. I've been an offensive coach. I've been a head coach. I've done everything in football you can do other than coach at the professional level. I don't have hookups. I don't know the people to do that. Okay? But that's okay. I'm loving coaching high school football. All right, so to the power rankings. My number one team in the UFL coming into the 2025 season, no surprise, is the Birmingham Stallions. They got the best coaching staff. It's won multiple championships, USFL and now UFL. Skip Holtz knows what he's doing. He has good personnel. They have good scouts. The team was built in the USFL to be the best team in the league. How are they built to be the best? They have the best offensive line. They have the best defensive line. And they have the best secondary in the league. Yeah, you're going to win a bunch of games unless your quarterback is horrible and turns the ball over all the time. Adrian Martinez last year did not turn the ball over all the time. He ran the ball when he needed to. He threw some great passes. He played exceptionally well. So well, he got signed to a reserve features contract with the New York Jets. They need quarterback help. Okay, but he's not getting, I don't know if he's getting a look there. They need help. Okay, but he's not with the Stallions currently. Okay, their running backs come back. Their offensive line gets a few tweaks. It's improved. Their defensive line gets a few tweaks. It's improved. Their secondary has some change of personnel at cornerbacks. Probably the best defensive secondary in the league. Maybe second to the Brahmas. They have a great defense. Okay. But they have the best coaching staff, best offensive line, best defensive line. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. They can play great. They can sack your quarterback. They can stop the run. They can cover downfield. They can do everything you want to do. They're the best team until someone knocks them off. Go Brahmas. Someone's got to knock them off. Okay. I predict they'll go 8-2. And I predict they'll go 8-2 because I predict they'll clinch. They'll go start off 5-0, I believe. And they'll clinch the playoffs, and then they'll rest some people and such. I think the Brahmas will beat them in week 6. I'm going to that game. So hoping the Brahmas pull off the upset. It's in Birmingham. It's close by. I live in Chattanooga. Okay? All right. So, number 1, Stallions. 8-2. Expected greatness. Last year they were 7-3. I think they're better this year. So I think they still lose a few games because some teams are going to make tweaks. I think they'll have a few bad games. That's the normal for the UFL. Okay? All right. Number 2 team, San Antonio Brahmas. Horns forward. Boom. That's the saying. Horns forward. Okay? Brahmas coming at you. Best defense in the league as a whole. Wade Phillips won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. Defensive genius. That's what it looked like last year. The defense ruled the league. Okay? The reason they struggled, the reason they were 7-3, quarterback was a dumpster fire. Quentin Dormady had to play most of the season. That guy's average. Okay? Chase Garbers come from the Raiders as a practice quarterback. Who knows? Chase Garbers really showed his true colors in the championship game, refusing to sacrifice because he's waiting for his NFL opportunity. Where's he playing now? Nowhere. He should have just won the league championship. He'd probably be coming back this year. Okay? But he wanted to protect himself by sliding before he could pick up the first down and stuff like that. Okay, great. Kellen Mond, former Texan quarterback, former Cleveland Browns quarterback, didn't really get a great shot in the NFL. He's coming in. He wants to prove himself. He's an older quarterback. He has experience. Show up on the day. A.J. Smith has a great offensive scheme. Quarterback friendly. Okay? Quarterback friendly. The last year they had a great running game. Anthony McFarland left to an NFL opportunity. Okay? But they brought in Ja'Shawn Corbin, who had an outstanding senior year at Florida State. And I think he's going to look really good. John Levette's back. The wide receiver crew for the Brahmas are elite. Those guys should be in the league, some of the NFL when I say the league. Okay, but they got some looks, but they came back. Good for the Brahmas. Defensively, loaded. The best linebacking crew. Most likely the best defensive line. A chance to have the best edge rushers. The secondary is fire. The scheme is amazing. Wade Phillips looks like he's falling asleep in the game because the defense is dominating so much. The only weakness of the Brahmas was their offensive line last year and their quarterback. They had to run the ball in the second half of the season. Running the ball got them to the UFL championship game. Helped them beat the Battlehawks in St. Louis. Okay? They need to come out with a better quarterback. They need to pass protect. Last year, they started the season with a good offensive line that could pass protect. By week 3, that offensive line was all on the injured list. They were gone. So now you got to start over an offensive line. They could run block really well. But Chase Gardner's got his season shortened with an injury. Quentin Dormady played scared. Okay, Kevin Hogan stepped in and took over Quentin Dormady. He's still with the team. Okay, Jarrett Guarantano, I mean, that guy's used to getting hit. He played for the Roughnecks last year. He's used to getting hit. So, I mean, if he has to step in, he won't mind. But the protection needs to be there for Kellen Mond if he's going to play well. Okay? The protection is going to be key for Kellen Mond. If they can protect him, they can run the ball. This offense is going to be explosive, and they're going to take over the XFL conference along with the best defense in the league. Okay? All right. That's number 2, the Brahmas. Number 3, I predict the St. Louis Battlehawks. Now, last year, I'm going to say I predicted the future. Usually, the theme has been for the last couple years in spring football, the city that hosts the final championship game will be the champion. Okay? Birmingham, they hosted the hub city. They didn't play the championship game. They played it in Canton in the USFL, but they won the league. Why? Because they're the hub city. That's why you put the best team. More people come to the game. That makes sense. It's good business. Okay? I like that. But I don't like it right now because it might kill the league if the Stallions take over again. They need competition. Okay? Let's go Brahmas. But Battlehawks, okay, should be a solid team still. I like their defensive line. Okay? I love the receiving crew. Hakeem Butler, I think is his name. Amazing receiver. Looks huge. Looks huge. Saw him against the Stallions in Birmingham. He looks like a giant compared to the rest of the UFL receivers. That guy's awesome. Jaquar Pearson or whatever he may be at receiver. Those guys are really good. The running backs are really good for the Battlehawks. Okay? A.J. McCarron, the only quarterback the Battlehawks have ever had, left. He got mad at the Battlehawks. He left. I predicted he was going to go to the Brahmas. I was wishful thinking. But I don't think he's not going to play. He's not going to play. He's had enough of the UFL. And that's probably okay. Good job. Good job for him. Go enjoy your family. Okay? So who's the quarterback going to be? Well, you got the backup from last year. He let me down in the fantasy league, UFL fantasy league. I lost the championship because of Manny Wilkins. That's sad. I'm probably a little biased against him because I lost that championship game. Next, they added Max Duggan. Now, you may say to yourself, I've heard of Max Duggan. Yes. The last time I heard of Max Duggan was for TCU against Georgia in the national championship game. They lost that game 65-7 to Georgia. Max Duggan was under pressure and melted down. But the UFL is not University of Georgia. It might be better. It might be worse. We'll find out pretty soon because Max Duggan's going to have to go lead his offense with a new offense coordinator, Seneca Wallace. Last year's offensive coordinator moved on to the NFL, which is good for him. Okay? Anthony Beck's still there. We'll see what they do. New faces. Their offensive line is good. Their defensive secondary is good. The quarterback is a question mark. Max Duggan. If he can step in and rule the day, he's going to be tough. They might be the top team in the XFL. They're hosting the championship game again. It would make sense to have him in it. I don't want to see that. I want to see the Brahmas there. But it would make sense. Okay? You have good attendance. St. Louis fans come out. They show out. They're the best fans in the league. You don't want to lose those fans. Okay, next. Michigan Panthers. Michigan Panthers had a very similar build to the Stallions last year. Great offensive line, great defensive line. What set them apart from the Stallions? They ended up with the same record. They ended up number 2 in the UFL division. They were maybe the better team for a little while. Record-wise, they were going to host the USFL championship game, but then they lost it because the dome wasn't available. Ford Field wasn't available, so they played it in Birmingham. So maybe they were better than the Stallions last year. No one believes that. No one believes that because they played the USFL championship game of that conference, and Stallions won. They smacked the Panthers. Why? Quarterback. They got quarterback issues. They have a good running game, but the quarterback's not good. No offense. They're a good play-action team. If you can get wide open, he can hit you. Otherwise, tight windows, not good under pressure. Defensive secondary, suspect. Going to give up big plays. Not going to win a lot of grind-them-out games, which they need to win. Giving up big plays. Let's go back a second. I got the Brahmas with a 7-3 record. I got the Battlehawks with a 6-4 record. I got the Panthers. The Panthers with a 6-4 record. Okay? Panthers with a 6-4 record. All right. That's top half of the league. Next, DC Defenders. DC Defenders, last year, I predicted would be the second best team in the XFL Conference. Greg Williams, another defensive genius, usually puts a good scheme together, high risk. He loves to bring heat, and he loves to man up. He does play some cover 6, as everyone does in the UFL. Okay? They lost their best running back in training camp last year. They could not recover from that. Why? Because Jordan Tom was really good at play action, similar to the Panthers quarterbacks. Okay? He's good with RPOs. He can run the ball a little bit. He's not good without the running game. A drop back passer, it's not his game. Jordan Thomas is not the best drop back passer, okay? So they imploded. They imploded and had a bad season. It started with a Brahmas win in San Antonio. It was unexpected. It was an upset, setting the Brahmas up for a great season, crushing the DC Defenders. DC Defenders never really recovered from that. Injuries popped up everywhere. They got beat down. They have reloaded their defensive line. That defensive line looks a lot better. I think they'll pressure the quarterback and be able to get tackles for loss for Greg Williams. The secondary has been rebuilt. They should be able to cover a little bit. I still think they're one injured player away from having their offense implode on itself. They have Jordan Tomu back. They have the receiver back. They have Abram Smith back at running back. I think they'll come out and look pretty good early in the season. I think they'll look good early in the season. I think injuries, especially on offense, will mess the team up. Okay? All right. I predict they'll be 6-4. That's better than 4-6 from last year. Okay? 6-4 is good. It's a winning record. I think they'll be in the race with the Battlehawks, okay, for a playoff spot. I think the Battlehawks win because, I mean, it's a better fan base. Is that the real reason? Maybe. But it's also because I just think they'll win more games against the XFL division. Okay? That'll be the tiebreaker. They're both going to be 6-4, but I think the Battlehawks will win against the Renegades, and they'll win against who's the other team? No, not Memphis. The Renegades, and that's it. They'll probably beat Memphis. They'll beat Houston. I think they'll sneak up, and they almost beat the Stallions last year. I think they'll grab someone. They'll beat someone. They'll beat the Panthers, I believe. They may beat the Battlehawks one time. So we'll see what happens. It's hard to tell. A lot of changes could happen. Okay, by having 6-4, number 5 team in the league, not making the playoffs, but they have a chance because they're going to be tied with the Battlehawks. Okay? All right. Next, number 6. I have the Arlington Renegades. Why? Because they rebuilt their offensive line. Okay? They rebuilt their defense. Bob Stoops, RPO guy. Loves RPOs. Loves the running game. Loves a good defense. Okay? It looks like they're going to have a refreshed look on defense. Now it's a bunch of new players. So I think the first half of the season, they're not going to play very well, kind of like last year. Last year, they started really slow. They picked it up at the end. They finished kind of strong. I predict that again. Why? A bunch of turnover in players. If everyone was starting new like last year, I think they would be a lot better. But not everyone's starting new. Okay? So I think that new defense is going to take time to come together. Okay? I think they'll be tough week 1 against the Brahmas because I see the Brahmas maybe, they have to break in their quarterback. Okay? So they'll have a chance to win the game early, but I think they'll struggle early in the season and they'll finish strong again. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I have them at 3-7. Okay, 3-7, finishing strong. Luis Perez comes back at quarterback. They have a better offensive line. I think they'll run the ball. We'll see what happens. Secondary is a question mark to me. The whole defense is a question mark to me. Too many new players. I don't know what they're going to look like on defense. Okay, I don't know if anyone does. I think that'll change a lot over training camp. Okay, number 7, Houston Roughnecks. Okay, they redid the entire team except for the head coach. They were 1-9 last year. They flipped the whole team except for the head coach. Head coach not very good at game planning and not very good at managing the game. Okay, I got them at 2-8. Why? Because if you're going to flip the entire roster, you expect to get a little bit better. A little bit better. This used to be the Houston Gamblers. It's not the same Houston Roughnecks that was good in the XFL. That is the San Antonio Brahmas. Okay? The Houston Gamblers, 500 team at best. Last year did not transition well to UFL. Injuries everywhere. Coach, not great. Quarterbacks getting beat down. Protection was not good. Okay? It looked bad. It looked bad. 1-9. They got beat down. You change everything. You change everything except for the coach. I think they'll be a little better. Okay? Be a little bit better. They do lose a running back. Running back last year was pretty good. They don't have him anymore. Okay? I got them because of a bad offensive line, because of a bad defensive line. I got them at 2-8. 2-8. And they play in the USL division. It's tough. They're going to play the Stallions twice and the Panthers twice. It's a tough road. I think they'll beat Memphis. I got them at 2-8, which is one game better than last year. Okay. I think they should fire the coach. If they don't fire mid-season at the end of the year. I don't like to call people's jobs, but come on. Coach the game. Coach the game. Quit messing around. Quit ripping off Houston fans. They need a good team. They had a good team, and now they got to watch a mess. Okay? Don't be a dumpster fire. Speaking of dumpster fires, number 8 is the Memphis Showboats. Memphis Showboats. Last year, watching this, the Showboats started with a win last year. They came out against the Brahmas. They had a big lead in the game against the Brahmas. They blew an 18-point lead in the 4th quarter. Brahmas win the game. Showboats from that point on looked like a mash unit. Offensive line was horrible. Tackles were bad on offense. Quarterback was taking major hits. I watched him in person play the Stallions. I felt bad for their quarterback. Case Cookus was getting destroyed. That guy was not good at avoiding hits. He was getting destroyed. The running game was getting destroyed. The receivers were not getting open. It was a mauling. They changed a bunch of stuff. Ken Wisenhunt's their new head coach. Okay? They changed the head coach. I don't think they needed to change the head coach. The head coach was pretty good. But they had horrible offensive line. Okay? Defense was not good. Okay? Case Cookus is gone. Boop. They bring in E.J. Perry and Quentin Dormady. 2 guys who are used to losing games. They're good at it. Quentin Dormady had a good year last year for the Brahmas. He stepped in. That quarterback, that offense is very quarterback friendly of A.J. Smith. Dormady had a lot of advantages with that. He doesn't have that in Memphis. He's going to be exposed. He has a bad offensive line, no running game, going to get beat down. He's going to quickly get annoyed. He's going to throw a bunch of interceptions. That's my prediction for the Memphis Showboats. Defensively, they're all new. All new. And that's probably not a good thing. Boogie Roberts, last year was with the Brahmas, got carried over from the XFL, used to be with the DC Defenders, got passed around, got cut. He's with the Showboats. He's supposed to come out and have a great season. He might be the bright spot on their defense. The rest of that defense does not look like a professional caliber team. Ken Whisenhunt has his work cut out for him. He's an offensive guy. They need to be able to protect the quarterback. Their tackles were so bad last year. I don't know how they made it on a pro level football team. It was bad. And the quarterback was getting destroyed. I felt bad for Case Cookus against the Stallions. I'm not a Memphis fan, but I felt sad for that guy. I imagine playing quarterback. I'd be scared to go play against the Stallions with that offensive line. That was bad. I got them being 1-9. 1-9, bringing up the last. I think they should restructure the whole thing. Maybe in 2 years they'll be better. You can't change every single part and be good. Okay? That's bad because Memphis is already struggling with their fan base, and they need a good season. I don't think this is the year. I think they're going to get beat down. Okay? All right, so a quick review. I got kind of chatty in between. I lost track of my records. Be easy on me. I saw some people making comments, and so far it's been good stuff, okay? If you diss on me, I don't mind. I don't care. I know I'm working on this. I'm getting better. I'm looking for sponsors so we can get some special effects, some digital stuff, a background behind me, some nice stuff. We can do that. I got some music we can play, okay? I'm kind of low budget right now. But the ideas are good. Hope you see. The logic's good, okay? You'll see. If you don't believe in my logic, wait until the season starts. Keep this power ranking. Write it down. Look at the records. At the end of the year, you will see I'm spot on. The only thing that could change the outcome would be injuries. So quick review. Number 1, Birmingham Stallions. Best team in the league until someone knocks them off. I got them at 8-2. Okay? San Antonio Brahmas, number 2. In my mind, best team in the XFL conference because of their defense. I got them at 7-3 again this year, but I got them hosting the XFL championship game. They're going to play at St. Louis twice. That'll be their chance to host the championship game and get their one game against the Battlehawks at home. Okay? Only 4 home games. I think they go 7-3. Okay? Number 3, St. Louis Battlehawks. They got a home field advantage for everything. Everyone wants the Battlehawks to win. They got the best fan base. Max Duggan's got a meltdown. It's going to get ugly. 6-4. Okay? I think they make the playoffs 6-4. Okay? And they quickly get beat down by the Brahmas in the XFL championship game in San Antonio. Horns forward. Boom. Okay. Number 4, Michigan Panthers. I got them at 6-4. Second best team in the USFL conference. Got no secondary. Going to give up big plays. Grind it out. Control the ball. Try to keep the scoring down. Going to give up big plays. Quarterback's probably going to throw interceptions. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. DC Defenders bounced back from their 4-6 season last year. 6-4. Better defense. If the offense stays healthy, they might overtake the Battlehawks. 7-3. Okay? But I think they're going to face an injury. I think they're going to get injured. I think Jordan Tamu's not going to make it through the season. Not wishing bad on anybody. Just my prediction. And I think they're going to end up being 6-4. Start the season strong. End up 6-4. I think they're going to miss the playoffs by a very slim margin. Battlehawks will beat them out. All right. Number 5 was DC Defenders. I mentioned that. Number 6, Arlington Renegades. 3-7. They made some improvements. Bob Stoops, similar to the way Phillips looks disinterested. He's just having a good time. Better defense, better offensive line. The league's getting better. I think they're going to have a hard time. I think Luis Perez, veteran of spring football, probably not a compliment. Means you're not moving on. Okay, number 7, Houston Roughnecks. I got them at 2-8. Dumpster fire in action. Number 8, Memphis Showboats. I think that boat's going to sink pretty fast. I could be wrong. It's going to sink pretty fast in my mind. Ken Whisenhunt will be looking at a sunken showboat. Yikes. Got to call the Roughnecks to pull you out. What's a roughneck? Some kind of oil rig, I guess. I don't know. They're probably strong. All right, so that's my UFL 2025 preseason power rankings. I guarantee you at the end of the season, we're going to look back at this and go, wow, that was accurate. If you bet on these power rankings, wow, that was accurate. Thanks for being here. I'm going to come back tomorrow with a topic. I'm going to watch some NAL games maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm going to see it. I may talk about some schemes, some X's and O's. Okay? Could talk about some science and quantum physics. I got a background in that area. Could talk about the nature of all reality. Okay? We'll see. Maybe I'll take a day off. We'll see. It's hard to say. Either way, I'll see you for the next episode of Football Scientific. Have a wonderful night. Go Brahmas, horns forward. Ah!